Now we have a problem. You see, we have been able to do the list and we are able to scroll through, but then we the thing is that everyone is the same, everything is the same, every card, every lister is the same thing, every lister is the same name and things. For us to change them, we have to manually go through the list, and for each of them, we change. We have to change the name manually. You see, I'm changing this one to, let's say, Bernard. Bernard. Then let me refresh. There you can see that the second one here, Bernard, is changed, right? So we want to have different people. It's not the same person that will be throughout like this. We want to be able to do something like that. But we don't have to be manually doing that. So you have a different way of running all these things, right? What we are going to do is that we are going to clear everything and restart building from scratch again. So the name is home screen, right? We need to keep the name because this is the name that we registered in the nav page. So we need to make sure that we keep that name. So I'm going to clear everything onto a clear this thing, right? Now we are going to do a stateless widget. I'm going to use a stateless widget, and the name is going to be home screen, right? Then you know why this thing is here. This widget thing, I need to import Flutter. Now what are we going to return? We are going to return. Oh, there's already return. We are going to return a column, right? We talked about the column thing already, right? So now we are going to return a column, and then that column is going to have children, right? And the children, the first item that we plan to put inside is the app bar. We spoke about why we are doing this last time, and then we are going to have the list here. For the app bar, you have the list. So let's prepare the app bar first. App bar. Then in the app bar, we put separated by comma. Then app bar we have title, right? So it's going to be a text widget, and then you're going to be charts. Okay. Then are we going to center the title? No, let's leave it like that. Let's say background color. So colors dot I want to use green this time so that it will be different from the previous one. Now let's refresh. Okay, this is what we have now. Nicely done, green at the top, and then we are going to list all the um charts now. Now we are going to build a list, right? But we are not just going to use list view again. There's going to be an advanced a higher version of list view. So let's see to we have to go to the top first here, right? We are using stateless widget. So if it's stateful widget, there will be two classes following. And stateless widget, we are free to use this space on top of the build. So this space on top of the build, we are going to put the list of all the items that we are going to use in the list view. You need to first create a list here. So we are going to create the list of the names first. The list, and then because it's going to be name, it's going to be a string type, right? So we are going to say users, right? Users, the list of users. Then we are going to open this and close it end with question mark as semicolon. And then inside it, I'm going to keep the names inside now. So let's say the first person is Francis, the second person is Joshua, the third person is Bernard. Let's bring a lady in, um, Emanuela, and maybe Grace. Okay, so we have these four names inside here. We are going to build a list for all of them, right? But because it is this thing a stateless widget, you need to make sure that this list is a final list. It needs to be a final list, right? Before we can use it. It needs to be a final list before we can use it. Um When I see this error, okay, we are using stateless widget, right? For stateless widgets, this list should be, we need to cut it, control cut, we need to cut it, and then put it inside, oh, this is not copied, and put it inside the build rather on top before the return. Control V, that's what we need to put it. We are using stateless widget, right? So it's going to be final and then the name of the users, because we are using stateless widget. We will do the same using stateful widget too as well, but then for stateless widget, remember we are not using this space to keep our variables. Our variables should be kept inside the build, under the build, just before the return, right? The variable should be there. All right, now let's go down. Now this is the list, and among the list, what we should do is we are now going to call, so the first one is app bar, we know we have that. Then I'm going to leave a space, like, so you can use a space, or I'm going to just call a divider. Yeah, the divider, right? Divider, I guess. Let's just use the divider, but that will not be nice. Honestly, it's not really about the niceness. Let's use size box to keep a small space. Hey, what's happening? Size box, and then we are going to keep a small height of 4 4.0, right? Now after that, then we are going to have list view dot builder. This is what the advanced one that we are going to use, and it's going to act like a function, right? So we need to have this bracket open, and then um end it. So list view dot builder, then we end with a comma because it's a widget, right? Now inside it, we need to pass some key argument, right? The first one is the item count. So this list view builder is going to use some, let's say 3, right? Some number 3, and then we are going to call the builder. So we have item builder, right? This is the item builder. This is the one actually building it. So what we want to return is going to be passed here as a function, right? So now inside the bracket, the curly bracket is where we are going to put the actual return item. But then in the builder, this is where the argument, there are some common argument that you need to pass here. They are needed, right? Let's call the context and then call the index, right? I will explain them soon. Okay, so one, for each item, what are we going to return? We are returning a list style, right? And then the list style, what do we have? This is going to end with this a lister, and the lister is going to return a b. We have style color, right? So it's colors dot, um should it be gray? My, what's happening to my keyboard? Colors dot, I want to use green, but then a lighter version of green, so I'm going to this space to use this lighter version of green, like something like this. I hope that will work. And then so we are going to return a title, and the title is going to be, let's say, Francis for now. There is going to be a widget. It should be a widget. We learned this already. Test. The name is going to be Francis for now. Let's put Francis inside for now, right? So what we are basically doing is, so now this is the list view dot builder. The builder needs this item count. You need to tell it the number of items is going to build in total, right? And then also we have to pass the argument, and this argument takes the function. And for that function should return a widget. So returning a widget, list style is a widget, right? We told you flat style contains a lot of widgets. And but this is very necessary. You need to pass this bracket and put context comma index inside. And then because we'll be using the index, so the index is for, you see, we are saying item 3, right? 3 items. So it's going to be building from index 0, index 1, index 2, right? That's based on the index that we have, right? So if there are 3 items, you have 0, 1, 2. 4 items, 0, 1, 2, 3. So that will be 4 items because computer will actually measure or read from 0. So yeah, so there are going to be 3 items. So based on the index that we have, we based on the index, yes, we are going to list that particular current index item here. All right, now let's see what we have on this page first. Let me restart everything to see the full build. Yeah, list our issue, right? So there's nothing, you need to put this guy inside flexible. Yes, then let's go. Yeah, so it has come to Francis. Each of them is like that. So there are 3 items, but it's like there's too much space at the top there. So meaning this size thing, let's leave it to 1 and see. Oh, the space at the top is too much. After the up bar, wait, did I close? Are we inside the up bar? So this is the up bar chart, right? Inside it, we have column. This is too much. Let me even clean it, remove it, and see. Um, wait, we are using a column. So if there's this space between the up bar and this thing that we didn't go for, let me see if it's main axis alignment. So main axis alignment dot start, right? Let's see. Yeah, so there is this space that comes 0, 1, 2. So there are 3 items that we are having full. But then why do we have this space on top of the build? Okay, so let's find that issue for now. Let's solve that issues for now. I don't want this white space. Why is it coming first? Maybe there's an issue. We are building this, right? Let me change the flexible to expanded and see. Expanded. Same concern. 0, 1. There are 3 items, and on each item we have a lister, and each of them we are returning this. But then this up bar is at the top there. Then there is space between the up bar and this thing. Let me clear the up bar and see. Yeah, so it was the up bar issue, right? Up bar was bringing some up bar was bringing some, how do you call it, automatic, how do you call it, space. So we'll look into that in the next session, then I'll be able to clarify, right? um so up bar was coming with automatic space here, which is something I need to explore as to why I'm having that. Okay, maybe because I'm using up bar in a column. But yeah, so Yeah, I need that. I need that particular app button added there. Right. Then so okay, okay. Uh, why is my app coming with a space? All right, all right, all right. No problem. We'll clarify that. Let's focus on the lesson here. From here to here, right? This space or is Z in my emulator because I don't think I added any space anywhere. Right. Let me see if it has to come with some margins. Primary, it doesn't. Okay, I'll I'll deal with that later. But let's clear this one. So right now there are three items that we've listed. So if I change it to two items, if I change it to two items, you should see only two. If I change it to one item, you see it now brings only one. If I change it to 100 items, it will be able to build all that. So that I can be able to scroll, right? It's able to scroll like this. You can scroll between the lists. All right. Now, so we are returning. So let me put a margin, a padding around this. Let's put a padding around it, right? So that let's do R. So I just added a padding to each of them. So around them, there is a difference between all of them, right? So this is this. There's a padding. So you can control that as much as possible. But then we want to display these names, the names that we have in this list, right? In this list, this is what we want to use on each item. So right. So what we are going to do is that how many items are here? We have one, two, three, four, five. We have five. So we need to go to the item count and say, okay, what we have is five items. Five items. So you're going to do that five items. And for each item, is going to get for each index, you're going to get as the index. We are going to now make use of this index. And that index, we are going to fetch the name, right? So the name is going to be a name, right? So I say string name equals, let me say current name equals to users and the index that we want to use. We've used them when we're learning about list, right? And then that current name is what we are going to put inside here, right? Current name. Now that's what I'm putting inside here. Let's run it. So there are five. Now you can see Francis, Joshua, Bernard, Emanuela, Grace, all coming. They are all coming from this particular list here, from here to here, right? These are the ones. So that's how it responds to a particular list of items that you want to use. Currently, we are just showing the name, right? Let's do a trailing, right? For the trailing, we added trailing last time. What did we add? We added a text, and then in that text, we say you're going to print time, right? Time like 3:45 a.m., something like that. So this is going to work for, but no, on the 20, let's add an arrow basically. So icons dot arrow, icons or icon into bracket, icons dot right arrow. So arrow right, arrow to the right. We are going to display an arrow to the right basically. So let's run this. So for each of them, yeah, so you click on them like this, it will show you. If you click on them, it will show this arrow thing, but this is not the arrow that I want to use. I want the one that's arrow dot right, join right, turn right, no swipe right. Okay, I think swipe right rounded. Let me see how this one looks like. No, that's not the icon I want to use. We are going to use dot arrow right Circle right. Okay, let me use the circle right and see. Let me see how it looks like. It looks like this. All right, all right, all right. Maybe this one does it. So you click on it, it should do something, right? But then that's not a problem. So that's what we are adding right now. So it's just a trailing to each of them, each of the lister. So you may not be lister, it may be a card that you work on that you want to show a card, a particular card that you have customized. Lister is something that really help you to make a quick list, like with leading and all that, right? But yeah, the leading and losing still hold. But what we are just trying to do, we are trying to make it responsive to a list of value that we want to have. Okay. So this is the name, right? So what we also want to do is that, okay, what if we want to do it like actual text? We don't want to show this arrow. We want to show the text, right? Text. Um, let me go back. So we have to show a text, right? And the text we are going to show the time, the time that the message came. My keyboard is worrying me now. Hmm. Okay, I think I've solved it. So now what we have to do is that we need to which test is that 3, let's say time 12:02 p.m. Maybe that's when the message came or something, right? So let's run this. Okay, the times are showing, right? Now let's add a subtitle. Subtitle that will be subtitle, right? And then we are going to say a widget to show the last message, right? Last message of the current user of, so dollar current name, right? So we know why we are using the dollar thing, right? We always use this thing. By now, you have this. So last message of Emmanuel, last message of Bernard, last message of Joshua, last message of Francis, last message of Grace. We see they all show here throughout, yeah, the time. But then last message of Joshua and things may be different. We don't want to have them here. We also have to want to have their messages as well. So now this means that in our list we just have strings. See, we have only strings of the names. So we don't want to use string, but we want to have for each, for Francis, we want to have the time of the last message. We also want to have, so the time of the last message, we also have the last message, so that we can put them at the right places inside the lister, right? We want to put the actual last message of Francis, which may be different from the next person. We also have to have the time, right? But we need to group that nicely in a JSON format inside here, not just string here, right? If a particular single item has multiple things, we are going to make use of map. This is where map come in nicely. So we are going to use the concept of map. So it's map string, yeah, string, then comma dynamic, yes. So now that means that in each of the items, we are not going to show just strings. Each of them should be a map, right? So let's just do one. Each of them should be a map. So what map are we going to use? So in each map, we're going to put the name of the person, right? The name for the first person is Francis, right? Shares. Um, we are going to show last message. The last message is we are waiting for you in the class. That will be the last message. We put a comma, right? So that's the first one. And then time of the last message. Time is 3:12 p.m. let's say that. Okay, those are the three things that we need to have, right? This is one single item for one person, right? So then copy that for another person too. They may also have different field. So let's say Grace Johnson, right? So we say the food is not yet ready, something like that, and we change the time to 5:12 p.m. or let me say, yeah, 12 p.m. Then should we add another person? Let's just add another person. Then we um let's say Benjamin Ash. Then your name is not on the list. Um, for 12, maybe they receive it earlier a.m. So we have how many different items now? This is one, this is two, and this is three. We have three items, right? That's what we are having the list. So you need to have your list of everything. Now let's go inside the map. Now inside it, what are we going to have? So we have users, right? Users here. This is the users. Uh, this is a users variable, right? That is containing a list of map. But if you come here, you see each item is a map. So if you are coming here, you see we are actually each item here is going that's coming from this users list from the index is going to be a map. So why are we going to assign it to a string? It shouldn't be a string. So we are going to assign it to a map as well. Since so that the variables will also mark. It's going to be string, comma, dynamic. We explained this thing before in the that version, so that's why it's very important to learn the things one by one. Okay, now the test current name, right? Let's say current user, not the current user, because it's not just a name. Each person is a user, so current user. So you're going to say, okay, for that current user, here we are going to call their name. Among them, we are going to call their name. The name is going to be pasted here, and then last message instead of the last message, we are going to say, okay, that current user here we are going to paste their last message, and over here for that current user we are going to paste their time, right? So you see that these names are matching the one that we use, the keys here: name, last message, and time, so that when you get to each user in the index, because the index will be moving from the lowest index to the highest index, right? When you get to any current item, what will happen is that you're having here. But notice something. We have item count 5, but how many items do we have here? 3, right? We have 3. So you will see that. Let's run this thing first to see what the issue might be. Let's run this thing. Yeah, there's an error, right? Range length error, right? They go to do the first one, second one, third one, and there is an error because the number of items that we have. Let me even change it to 2. Let me change it to 2 so that we see and appreciate the error better. So there are only just 2, right? But if it goes beyond like 8, right, there's an issue. Why? Because we are manually changing this value. We have to make sure that this particular number is less or equal to the number of list items you have here. If you want to just paste the first 3, then you can use some number less than, right? But if you want to paste or you want to the list to match all of them, so you need to make sure that the length of this list is the one that you are keeping here. So you don't manually put this thing here. We are going to say users.length. That's what we are going to keep here. So based on the length of the current item, it will automatically capture it and update. So you have 1, 2, 3. Each person has their name showing their last message and the time. Their various times are different, right? Because we have made use of map. we have made use of map, and the map, with the map we are able to safely write wherever we will need to write whatever art in the list. So subtitle is the last message and not wherever. So the same thing can apply to any card that we use. But next time, maybe we can change this into a custom card in another session to see how we also display. But it will follow the same logic, right? Just know where you want to put what at, and then the things will follow. This is how the list item now follows, right? So you see that now with list for the builder, we just have one returning this thing. We don't have to copy plenty and be adding. What you have to focus on is that now that that thing is ready, we can add another one. We can add another item, control copy, and you paste it here. The name is so let's say Stella Home, right? Stella Home is that we have 5 guests coming today, and then the time might be a different time, two, let's say 2:00 p.m. Okay, so now let's just update that, right? So you can see it matches automatically because you don't have to go there and change the number of the item length, because the item count, because it is to get the length of the current list immediately and update automatically. And ListView builder is faster than just using ListView, right? Under the hood, basically. So for performance, this view your builder is better if you have a very long list. And then so what you have to focus on is how to be updating this thing, because you've prepared it. So every card will follow the same format. Any conditional logic that you want to use, you can use it on the card, and then you just focus on building and making sure that your JSON format matches the name that you are displaying on the card, right? So this is how we use it. For Python, this dictionary, or here we are going to be calling it a map, basically. Yeah, so this is how we build it, right? In the next session we might change, we'll have to change this and use a different card as well, right? This is a lister. We now understand lister and listing, right? Yes. Oh, okay, so what we have to do is now we should be able to add a search button here. Let's now do a search. We'll be doing a search. When we search Francis, only Francis should show. Let's say we have a very long list of items, very long list of items. We need to you want to search for someone, you need to add a search button, and then work on that. Yeah, so yeah, let's meet in another session.